2 Timothy 1, and now we're in verse 7. I'm turning from the bunny trail and back to Scripture. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Okay, have I talked about power and love. Now let's think about self-discipline. Paul in Galatians, under the inspiration of the Spirit, gives us a small catalog of the fruit or the product, the outcomes of the work of God's Spirit in our lives. He calls it, and you'll recognize this, the fruit of the Spirit. Interestingly, it begins with love. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. He begins with love and he closes it with self-control. And I'm not going to go down the bunny trail to say why I think that is and why those things in the middle happen, beginning with love, and then the kind of the clincher, I would say, is self-control. But one of the products of the work of God's Spirit in our lives, the fruit of His work, is self-control. Interesting. I don't know that there's any difference between self-discipline and self-control. The translators translate here in 2 Timothy self-discipline. So there's a difference in wording there. I don't know that the difference in meaning is very great, but we got to think about this, okay? Let's start with discipline. What is discipline? I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding and they make punishment equal to discipline. A lot of parents make this mistake and they don't understand why they are ineffective in their parenting, especially in this area of child discipline. Well, I think I am not brilliant by any means, but my experience has taught me, and also, educating myself, that discipline does not equal punishment. The role of punishment is only to get our attention so that discipline can take place. Because what does discipline mean? Well, it comes the word disciple. It's from the same root, and it has to do with learning. This is interesting, okay? I think it's interesting. The punishment happens so that in parenting, you punish to get the child's attention. And once you get their attention, nothing beyond that. Don't underpunish, because there are a lot of parents who do that. Their idea of a punishment doesn't even faze the kid. Different kids are different. But you want to get their attention. And once you get their attention, you're done with the punishment. Now, because you have the kid's attention, you can do discipline. Discipline is teaching. One of the most important little things that a parent can do in this discipline thing is begin it by asking, why did you get punished? Well, because you're mean. Well, I'm probably mean, but that's not why you got punished. Why do you think you got punished? No, because I broke the rule. That's exactly right. Now, the next question is, how do you keep from getting punished again? Depending on the age of the kid, young children, you do yourself and them no good by trying to reason them through. They just need all they can deal with is the basic facts. But still, the question is, how do you keep from getting punished like this again? And the answer is easy. I don't break the rule. Okay, how can I help you? Learn how to not break the rule. And really, in a way, isn't that what discipline from God is about? Discipline from God is not the same thing as punishment from God. Discipline has to do with me learning how to live my life more according to within His design. Punishment only got my attention. And oh, by the way, there are times that punishment is not necessary for discipline to occur. Now, can you tell that's a bunny trail? I could go down a long, long ways. I'm not going to. I'm going to say discipline. The point of discipline is learning. It's an educational emphasis. What is self-discipline? Well, it involves me training myself, and I believe in the context of what we're talking about here in 2 Timothy, me training myself to live within God's design. Because all of what Paul is talking about here helps fill in blanks of what is God's design. Here is a huge, important fact. This discipline, this learning how to live within God's design, becomes not outward constraints, not somebody else, somehow forcing us to not do certain things and do certain other things. It's from within. Self-discipline. The value of self-discipline is, wow, I think you could spend a long time contemplating. I know I could spend a long time talking about the benefits of self-discipline. One benefit of self-discipline is with self-discipline as an active thing in my life, I can finish what I start. One of the aspects of self-discipline is that we discipline ourselves to do what is hard. Because most of us, I can say this is true of myself, when things get really hard, I am always tempted to say, well, it's not that, no, I'm done. Let's go have fun. Self-discipline says you're not done till you're finished, right? Self-discipline will keep us on track when our emotional reactions and our feelings will want to pull us off the track, okay? So self-discipline, and it's also self-evident, but I'm feeling like, well, okay, let's talk some more about it. Self-discipline is what I do within me. These promptings, the thoughts, the behaviors, they are the result of me exerting discipline on myself. Now, don't miss this. Where does self-discipline here, according to what Paul said, where does that come from? Well, the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but the Spirit of God gives us power, love, and self-discipline. How cool! I don't have to depend on my own effort. I don't have to just really gut it out. This is not about pulling myself up by my bootstraps. This is about me welcoming the Spirit of God to give me self-discipline. What in your life today will require self-discipline? Now, if you're a maturing adult, I would guess almost everything in your life is going to require some measure of self-discipline. Think about your day. Think about the last week and project yourself into the future. What areas, what endeavors will require self-discipline? I'll come back to it. Can't think of anything that doesn't require or call for self-discipline. Now, there are certain things that won't happen without self-discipline. And there are other things that I'll be able to do to give my best because of self-discipline. Otherwise, I'll give until I'll give not my best, but I'll give, right? And usually at a minimum acceptable level until I just don't want to do that anymore. And self-discipline is the thing that makes it possible for me to go beyond that point where I just don't want to do it anymore. Well, you could take that principle, you could bend it and make it into something really weird. And oh, by the way, when Paul is talking about this Spirit of God given self-discipline, he's not talking about what some people believe. I'm so self-disciplined. And one of the things I discipline myself away from is feeling. I am not ruled by my feelings. Listen, I counsel people like that pretty routinely. The problem is, you may think all your feelings have gone away. Nope. They've only been buried alive, and they will resurrect at the most inconvenient times. That's not what self-discipline is about. Self-discipline is not about killing off your emotions. Self-discipline is the ability that it's a God-given ability. The Spirit of God makes it possible for us to discipline ourselves to choose what to do about what we feel. This may be the solution to most, especially in our adulthood, most relationship problems, is figuring out the wisest thing to do about what we feel. Another bunny trail that I could go way, way, way deep with, and I don't know that I'm not going to. And God's Spirit has given us not timidity, but power, love, and self-discipline. I'm thinking those are when those three things are at work, well, functional in my life, I think that's when I'm going to live my best life. Okay. That's it. See you next time on Soul Care with Stevie Boy.